Five, four, three, two, one.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
And I give you my perspective.
Coach Ed
And Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and Attack.
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk
I'm
Show.
going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coach Ed's Read and Attack.
And I give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and Attack. Sports
This
Talk
is a
Show.
sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coach Ed
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk Show. Read and Attack.
Read and Attack Show.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Coach Ed Gladney's Read and Attack Sports Show. Thank you all for tuning in today. I really appreciate you guys. To all my sponsors, Go Travels, Wise Consultants, Shadow Worlds Radio, the League of All League, and my new sponsor, the Jersey Bearcats Arena Football Team. Thank you all for being there and sponsoring me and helping me as I grow through this and I go through this and I bring you my versions of the sports that's out there today. Today we have a lot going on. I have a great interview with one of the co-owners of the Jersey Bearcats, Jermaine Sanders. So we're going to get into that. It's a little WNBA, a little bit of the hockey, NBA, NFL, a lot going on. So we're going to touch base with some of that stuff there. So thank you all for your support. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscription and the notification so you know when I post new content. And everyone, make sure you like and share on all your social media platforms. Also, make sure you comment. Get to interact with me. That'll also help interact with other fans. That'll also help this channel get out there, and the algorithms will say, hey, this is a show everyone wants to be a part of or wants to see. So with that being said, we're going to dive into the first part of the show. So let's turn it on and turn it up. What's okay? I am here. This episode, we're going to talk the WNBA, and what's going on right now, standings, a little bit of stats. Still early in the season, but the ladies are out there definitely playing some good basketball. So I definitely appreciate the entertainment, the joy, the passion, the skill that these ladies are bringing to the game of basketball. So, and I hope you guys are really enjoying what they're bringing onto the court. So, but before I do that, I just want to say this segment is sponsored by the Jersey Bearcats Arena Football Team. Brick by brick, they're building a great family, fun, entertainment, sporting event for you, for me, for everyone. So go check them out. All right. The WNBA. It's been pretty active. Right now, most teams have at least 2 games in. Some have 3 games in. I'm going to go over the standings, starting from the bottom up. But again, like I said, it's early. So, we still have a ways to go. but I'm going to look at it from a lead perspective from 12 to number 1. Coming in at number 12, the Minnesota Lynx. Right now, currently, they're 0-3. So that's the reason why they're in the last spot. So we'll see how they go. Coming in at number 11, actually at number 11 and number 10, Seattle Storm and the Indiana Fever. Both are 0-2. Coming in at number 9, the Phoenix Mercury. They're 1-2. At 8, the Atlanta Dream. Actually, the Atlanta Dream and the LA Sparks. They're both 1-1. Coming in at number 6, the Washington Mystics. They're 2-2. Tied for the next spot at 5-4, the Chicago Sky and the New York Liberty. They're both 2-1. At number 3, the Connecticut Sun. They're 3-1. And the top 2 teams in the W, the Dallas Wings and the Las Vegas Aces. Both are 2-0. So that's how it stands currently in reference to the positional. If you wanted to look at it from east to west, Eastern Conference, it goes Connecticut, New York, Chicago, Washington, Atlanta, Indiana, and out west it's Las Vegas, Dallas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Seattle, and Minnesota. So, but again, like I said, still a lot of basketball left to play. So now if we were to take a look at stats, the overall leaders for the season, in terms of points per game, the top 5 are coming in at number 5 is Brittany Griner at 21.3. Go ahead, Britt. Keep doing your thing. We all love you. We're all proud of you. Coming in tied for number 3 is Breanna Stewart and Jewell Loyd. They both come in averaging 26 points per game. And tied for number 1 is Jackie Young and Arike Ogunbowale, both at 26.5. Arike plays for Dallas. Jackie plays for Las Vegas. Jewell plays for Seattle. Breanna plays for New York. And Brittany plays for Phoenix. Rebounds per game. Coming in at number 5 is Natasha Howard from the Dallas Wings at 9.5 rebounds per game. Number 4, Breanna Stewart of the Liberty at 10. Number 3, Nylisa Smith from Indiana Fever at 10.5. Number 2 is Alyssa Thomas at 11.3 from the Connecticut Sun. And number 1 is Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces at 13 per game. And in terms of assists, coming in at number 5 is Courtney Williams from the Chicago Sky. She averages 5.3 assists per game. At number 4, Natasha Cloud from the Washington Mystics, 5.5 assists per game. Tied for number 2 is Diana Taurasi from Phoenix and Chelsea Gray from Las Vegas. Both are averaging 7 a game. And number 1 is Courtney Vandersloot from the New York Liberty at 8 per game. So that's just a little overview from some of the stats. Hey, you can go to WNBA.com and get a full overview of all the stats, the steals, the blocks, the field goal percentage, 3 points made. I mean, they have everything. They even give you the highest percentage of 3 points, most assists in the game. So they give you a complete breakdown, and I really, really like that. So now, again, like I said, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I love the competitive play. I love the way it's working out with a lot of teams. Hey, I'm a Liberty fan, so I follow my Liberty. And, they just played the Connecticut Suns, and it was a tight game initially to start, but New York put it on them in the second half, and they shine through, pulling away from the Sun. But the Sun are definitely a team that are going to be a team to be reckoned with it come playoff time. So you can't sleep on the Connecticut Sun. So, and Las Vegas, what can you say? I mean, they're well-rounded. They have a good top half of their rotation, veteran, championship tested. So they bring it every time they attack. They're on that court, and they attack the opposition with such ferocity I really love what I'm seeing from Las Vegas, and again, from the whole WNBA. So you guys, come on, let's get behind the WNBA. Let's all get out there. If we can get to a game, but at least get the TV viewership up. Let's pump it up. Let's be there for these ladies because they bring it each and every night. So I really love it. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys, when you take a chance, you guys like it. So that's it. I'm going to take a commercial break and I'll be back right after this.
Having credit issues? Tired of getting denied for a car, a loan, or a house? Let Wise Consulting Solutions help you improve your scores and get you back on track. Sign up and schedule a free consultation and credit analysis today.
All right, everyone. It's time to talk the NHL. The NHL is in its final stages of the playoffs right now. One side of the conference finals is finished. You're just waiting to go to the Stanley Cup. The other side is in the initial stages of wrapping up, but they're still working through some things. So, but let's take a look here. Let's go starting on the Eastern Conference. That's all wrapped up there. You had the Florida Panthers basically win that series 4-0 over the Carolina Hurricanes. So they went through and wrapped it up, and they're just waiting for the winner of the West in terms of their opponent. Now on the West side, you have we actually are waiting for Western. Here we are. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are up 3-1 over the Dallas Stars. So they're going into play now. Basically, the next 3 games will be completed. If they go the full 7, it'll be done by Wednesday, and they'll be able to move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. But right now, they'll be playing out on Saturday, and we'll see if Vegas can close it out and move on to take on Florida for the Stanley Cup, or if Dallas can withstand and step up and fight back and at least take care of that one game. When you're in the playoffs in a series like that, that's the biggest thing you want to do. You want to take it one game at a time. I mean, that's most important is, not really push yourself, not think too far ahead, just stay in that moment. And when you're down 3-1, all you can do, you have nothing to lose. Just stay focused on that one game and see about winning it and closing it out, and then move on to the next game. So hopefully Dallas will be able to do that. Hopefully they'll step up and, give Vegas a good showing and not be closed out in Game 5. So it's interesting. So I'm really intrigued. Hockey's a new thing for me to follow along a little bit. So I do dabble a touch, but I'm not truly engrossed and ingrained in it. But I'm trying, I'm learning, and it's something that I appreciate. So hopefully some of you guys will tune in and check it out. Hockey is more than just the fights. That's one of the reasons why I would look at hockey, because they allow fighting in the game, but not fighting to the magnitude that most people think about. But 2 people go at it. Hey, you 2 square up, nobody else jumps in, let them handle their business, and then you're penalized from there. So, but hockey is a little bit better. I've learned, it's a sport, with a lot of movement, a lot of angles, good strategy. So, again, like I said, it's something that I'm learning to appreciate. So, and I hope you guys do too. So, but that's going to be it. Going to go ahead and take another commercial break. And you know what? Coach will be back right after this. Be patient. Shadow Worlds Radio, the feel-good experience that connects with the community and reflects life. With Shadow Worlds Radio, you're able to listen to great music, find them out in the community, positively impacting lives,
addressing important social issues which affect our communities and bringing an interactive approach to life, love, sports, and our families. If you're looking for great DJ service, contact Shadow Worlds Radio. To listen to powerful talk radio, tune into the Unconcealed Talk Show, where it's about making strong and positive moves. For great sports talk, check out Heart of the City, where passion for New York City sports kicks it to another level. To take it back in the days, listen to Daz Smith and the Retro Show, where he brings you classic music from down under. Good day, mate. Shadow Worlds Radio is bringing you everything you're looking for from an online radio and media outlet. Visit Shadow Worlds Radio's website at www.shadowworlds.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Shadow Worlds Radio. And the Shadow Worlds spelled SHADOWWORLZ. Yes, Shadow Worlds with a Z.
All right, everyone. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm really excited. I have a special interview that I'm bringing to all of you guys right now. It's my man, Jermaine Sanders. I've known Jermaine for many, many years. We go back in the minor league, semi-pro football world where, you know, he's been an owner. I've been an owner. We, competed. We collabed. So, he's a great brother. Now he's doing arena football where he's the co-owner with the Jersey Bearcats Arena Football. So I want you guys to, sit back and enjoy and welcome him to the show. So Jermaine, thank you for taking the time to do this with me. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, man. I'm always there for you, and I know you're always there for me. So
absolutely.
So, but what I do here is, as I gave you a little briefing, this is part of the show. It's Coach Ed's Read and Attack sports show. So we bring this to a regional, national audience through the Shadow Worlds Radio. So fans are going to get to know you. You're going to pick up some new fans. So, and they're going to get to know you and what you do, and we can just take it from there. So, my first question is, when did you first get involved in sports, whether as a player, as a coach, whatever?
Well, I'll say it all starts with, early childhood, from, picking the equipment out of the toy box and, hanging out with some friends and just kind of getting a feel of, what comes natural or what draws you to that particular sport. And for me, it was always football and baseball.
Okay. All right. Well, in terms of football and baseball, who got you started in each aspect? I'm going to start with playing. Who got you started with playing first?
I think it was just, with, kids around my age, picking up the ball and, learning how to toss it and learning how to catch it, some of those fundamentals, and then just, playing it every day, just about. And then, and then it stems into, being a little bit more competitive. So then you may have to step your game up a little bit. So, I got into that with street tackle football or playing in the park. And, you remember those days on the hard concrete. So that's how you, became a little bit more comfortable with the game and, having a better feel of the competition and your skills as well, So I would definitely give it up to, playing at an early age and then, playing a little bit more structured after, moving up to high school.
Okay. Did you ever do any type of coaching?
I did. I did for the youth. In my last couple of years of undergrad, I actually coached a little bit in the middle school with girls basketball, girls softball, and in high school I coached with the freshman team in high school, Long Branch High School.
Okay. Who got you interested into coaching?
Well, I looked at it like this, you either have to have that natural born talent or you have to be able to increase your skill level. And, unfortunately, I didn't have it so within the genes in that regard to, hopefully, one day make it to the pros. That was ultimately my dream. But, obviously, as you get older and, you play through, high school and into college, it gets more competitive. Same thing all the way up to the NFL. You knew that. So, I just looked at it from another aspect. Like maybe I have a little something to give back to these young bucks. And, if I can reach that one, maybe that one, can teach others, and so on and so forth. So that's how I look at it and just being able to give back, So if I can't get out there and, do what I love, I might as well do the next best thing and be able to take some of my knowledge of the game and give it back to some of these young bucks. Because, at the time when I played in college, when I went to college, we didn't have a football program, so to speak. But a couple years later, we did. But just before that, I was, playing around, pick up football, and I tore my ACL and my MCL. So, late junior year, going into my senior year, and now they got the program. For me, it wasn't a good look. I mean, I'm only going to play one, maybe if two, if I'm lucky. But it just wasn't there. The feeling wasn't right. You know what I mean? I didn't want to kind of re-injure the knee and have another, major setback. So, again, this was, next up for me. God had other plans for me, and that was coaching, and then obviously later on pursuing ownership in minor league sports. So,
okay. Being that you transitioned from, the coaching into the management ownership, what were like how many teams or what teams were you in the management side, in the business side of, because I remember meeting you through the, I think it was the New York, New Jersey Fire, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But before that was actually the Jersey Cinder. It was
Cinder, yeah, right.
So, not sure if you remember, but I would say about 2001, 2002, I created the Jersey Cinder, or Jersey City Cinder, of where I'm from, Jersey City. Shout out to Jersey City, Chilltown. So back then it was something new, something fresh for the town of Jersey City. They haven't had semi-pro football in many, many years. At the time, I had a coach by the name of Coach Frank, and he played all the way back with the Jersey Oaks and a few other teams back then. And I brought him on. We had some great ideas, and he was the head coach there. And plus, he had a good knack for the line. And from there, we just started picking up a little bit more, and then finally made the announcements of, tryouts. And we had some great numbers for the tryouts. At that time, I got the backing from the city. God rest his soul, Mayor Glenn Cunningham. And God rest his soul too, Dr. Charlie Epps of the Jersey City superintendent of the public schools there. So we had good backing and the Jersey City Recreation. So we tried to get it all together, and unfortunately, it didn't come about with certain capital and certain, promises that the city made and support financially of. Not having to take on such a burden with a lot of different expenses, as you know, when it comes to having a team. So we didn't get it off the ground per se, but eventually, a few months later, I met a young lady from Harlem. She had a team. She was going through her struggles. And then we sat down and merged and called it the New York, New Jersey Fire. So we had a good mix of, New Jersey and New York players that brought a lot of talent to the team. And thereafter, unfortunately, things tend to break down when you have a partnership. So I parted ways with her, and then I gave it another year or two before I reemerged again. And then at least with that point in time, I would say about 2004, things started picking up a little bit. And then finished out probably around 2009, I would say. So we had a good, decent run with a couple of leagues. We had some, couple of good seasons. Some were, better than others, but I looked at it as a learning experience and said, you know what, maybe it's time to shut down, and then, years later, eventually the Bearcats were formed. So that's where we're at.
I get you. It's a long journey. I definitely understand. I've been there, so I know exactly.
Absolutely.
What you're talking about. So, well, being that you were a player, a coach, even into management, who do you feel that was your biggest influence in each aspect to help you, through your journey, through your pathway here?
Well, I would say probably player-wise, a player that I emulated a lot. I mean, there was a lot of players, but one that stood out was Deion Primetime Sanders. Although I didn't have the athleticism, I emulated him through other things. So, but I didn't make his kind of money. So. But it was a learning experience. I still love him to this day. You know what I mean? He's doing some great things. And he's really, turning the page for young African Americans to, hopefully, stand out from HBCU schools, going into the NFL or some of the other pro leagues, as you know. So I would say coaching wise, I think I would probably have to say when I was in college, a little bit of my college coach there, and maybe a mixture of the high school coach at Long Branch. So, they had different styles and all, but the one thing they had in common was, great programs and great coaching staff and great talent on the field. And, as you continue to grow, you pick them, scoop up, different, ideas and different traits over your years of playing, coaching, or just watching, and that develops into some great things for you down the road. So let me just point out, I was never a head coach, but I enjoyed the positional side of coaching, and that was linebackers and receivers. So I'm working my way up just in case, if my partner ever wants to retire, maybe I can step in a little bit. But now he's doing a great job with our program, and we've had some great seasons along the way in our 4-year existence. So, hats off to him.
No, I understand, and look, coaching is coaching, whether you're a head coach, coordinator, or a position coach. I've done them all. So, there are different points to it, but I get where you're going. So, and, you have the mindset to be a head coach if you ever get there. So I don't doubt that. So
hopefully in this lifetime.
So when you played in high school, what position did you play? Was it linebacker? Was it defensive back, or was it receiver? Because I know you mentioned linebacker and receiver.
Actually, I would say like freshman year, I was still trying to, learn more of the game and find myself in a position where I can help the team and, be able to start. I was pretty average. I wasn't, the greatest athlete in the world, but at $135, $140, I guess the only place I could go was either a receiver or a running back, but I had the heart of a lion. So, the position on defense was linebacker that I really, really enjoyed. And I just, watched a lot of film, watched a lot of other players, that started above me, and just kind of developed my own game over the years and, emerged into, playing a little bit better as I went forward, but through those high school years. But I just have a knack. I have a lot of love and respect for that linebacker position. You know what I mean? Love tackling, stuff in the run, side to side, catching those players. but yeah, I really enjoyed that position there, and wide receiver. But not that you're afraid to get hit, but at times if you get hit, you're gonna get clocked, and coach always say, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" So and you'd say, "Yeah, I'm hurt, but I can walk it off and come back." If you're injured, then obviously you can't play. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, that's from my perspective with that. So
Okay. So, with your playing or even whatever coaching, management, what were some of the accomplishments you achieved in any sports, football, baseball?
well, I think one accomplishing just playing, taking that step to actually playing and learning the game. I felt like to me that was an accomplishment. And then, actually, um, working well with others, because that could transition into a lot of life experiences for, young folks and as they continue, down the career path. I just kind of, you know, build myself into, being a little bit better than I was the day before or, last month or whatever. But as far as from a management perspective, I just, I read a little bit there with the business side of things. And, I leave the on field, stuff to my partner. And I try to take on those roles on the off field, if you will, and try to be the best at my position within this business and this the team, and try to better ourselves and do some great things, as we continue to move forward. So it's there's some challenges along the way, of course. You know that, from semi-pro days, and
Mhm.
I just kind of looked at those years as a learning experience, and then taking the time to reacclimate myself and reposition, and kind of look at some things from an ownership standpoint into this where we are now. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the little things, and you know we've accomplished so much in such a short period of time with a championship in the second year, and here we are on the verge of making the playoffs. So there's an opportunity there to actually get another championship, which I've never had the taste of, in playing a little bit of Pop Warner, high school, college. I guess for them years later with conference championships and championships at that level. But here I'm getting a taste of it now. And I guess, with all those, experiences and, just wait patiently until, the time is right. And here we are right now. The time is very, very good and very right. So,
Hmm. Well, you know what? That's a perspective that, first of all, I want to commend you on, because it's one that I never even contemplated or thought about. I mean, you said just going out there every day, working to get better, and then possibly taking some of those skills that you learn on the field and using them in life. That's an accomplishment. And you know what? That is a great accomplishment. I mean, because we as competitors, we as athletes, it's all about being on the field and wins and losses and all that type of stuff. But just going through the process, the journey itself, and then taking what you learned there and transition, I mean, that's an excellent, excellent accomplishment. I mean, thank you for sharing that and enlightening me alone. I mean, I know you're probably going to hit some of my listeners, but that's a great accomplishment. I mean, thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that.
absolutely, absolutely. And it goes to that old saying too, the old adage, when you win, you really lose, and you lose, you really win. So you kind of take the good with the bad, and then you learn from it, and then you develop, what it is that you want to accomplish and what you want to, continue to do. And if that's, your passion to do something similar to this or do something else in life, then I would say learn from your mistakes and put a plan together and, make it happen, make it work.
Well, in terms of these accomplishments, what do you think has been the greatest accomplishment for you, the biggest accomplishment, if you want, if I can put it that way. I mean, what do you feel is your greatest, accomplishment, whether it's on the field, whether it's in management, or whether it's, in life that you've taken from being involved with sports?
Well, I think for me, I'm just speaking for me. The one thing is having God in your life. Without Him, obviously, none of this would be at all possible. I mean, for some folks, it seems a little cliche, but He's the center of my life, and I was instilled with that at an early age. So whatever I do, I'm always, giving praises to Him, regardless if I didn't do it right, if I did it right, or I'm on the verge or the cusp of getting it right, and so on and so forth. I give Him all the praise and glory that I've gotten this far in life. Because obviously, growing up in certain areas and neighborhoods and things of that nature, some of our folks, our young men, don't see it past the age of 25, 30. And here I'm going to be 50 within the next 2 months. So I'm grateful for that. And then secondly, you got to have all your ducks in a row, structure your business correctly. If you're gonna do it solo, make sure you get some good advice and have a board. If you're gonna do it, with a partnership or a group, I would say just to make sure you guys, communicate, very well and share those ideas, because my idea may not be the greatest, but if someone else in my group says, hey, well, maybe we can add to that or pull this out, and then, kind of work collectively and compromise a little bit, you know what I mean, to make it successful, you know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
Those are important points there, when building, a successful, business or anything that you want to do in life, having a game plan and just, following and sticking with that game plan, moving forward. So, and you know what? If you enjoy what you're doing, you'll never have to work a day in your life. You heard that saying, right? So I enjoy what I'm doing. I have a great partnership. He's done some great things. Hopefully, you guys will have that conversation on your show in the near future, and he can share from his perspective. So we both have a lot of items to bring to the table, and it just works well. You know what I mean? I've had partners in the past that, for whatever reason it didn't work, but here I am 4 years, plus into this relationship that we have with the Jersey Bearcats and even with the American Arena League. And, we'll share that a little bit later on as well. But, we've had a great working relationship, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity, especially at this level,
Okay. Thank you. Well, so far, I've been focused mostly on the management side or coaching or even the playing side. Has there been any other aspects of sports that you've been involved with, for example, journalism or, in terms of marketing or community relations or anything of that nature? Is there anything else that you've done or been associated with in terms of sports?
Absolutely. Everything pretty much that you mentioned, because, obviously on this level, in order to get some things done, most of the time you have to do it yourself. But when it helps to have a great program, a winning program at that, people that want to get into the business and want to learn from a variety of different perspectives, especially, we have several students that are interning with us, and basically one wants to learn more about the inside business as far as like the operations of it, because it takes a lot to put on game day. The other student that we have is looking at communications and the behind the scenes of putting on game day as well, from broadcast and communications perspective. So thankfully we've and I'll give a shout out if I may to PDF Sports. PDF Sports has been a great partnership for us for the 2023 season. They opened their doors for young men and women that are looking to, get a taste of the industry. And they're the ones that, produce and, put together our film, our live streaming for us. So, shout out to Dave and his crew at PDF Sports and, doing some great things with him. So, I would definitely say, we've been thankful in that regard. So as an owner here, if you will, obviously it helps, with having a partner. And so my partner, AJ, handles, all the stuff on the field side. As far as, the talent pool that we pull from and the tryouts and everything pertaining to that. Me, on the other hand, I would do more so off the field. So that's sponsorships. As you know, with sponsorship, that's the backbone of any sports organization to be successful. So I've had, luckily for me, I've had some great, opportunities in sales and marketing in that regard. Community partnerships. I mean, not having partnerships is really going to doom that organization if you don't have that partnership in place. Again, that's a heartbeat of the community. So formulating those type of partnerships and getting the community to back you, that goes without saying, because, you need folks, to come out to the games and we go to them, because having that type of relationship would be, tremendous and increase volumes of, a good look for them as well as a good look for us. From a journalistic standpoint, I do some of the press releases. I'm not the greatest in that respect, but I do pretty good. I've written, some good articles in the past, and as far as managing the overall aspect of the product that we're putting out on the field, I think it's a collective effort. I have a little bit more of the business, acumen when it comes to that, but I always keep my partner involved and care about some of his point of views and, some of his ideas as well. And whatever makes sense and whatever's going to produce, our product and be successful, then I'm all for it,
Okay. Now, earlier you were talking about the importance of sports and the contributions that, and the lessons that you can learn from sports to transition into your life. Do you feel that they have helped you in your life personally? And what about, some of your players? I mean, do you feel that, the lessons that sports has taught them so far has helped them in their personal lives?
I mean, from an early standpoint, as coaching, years ago with the younger generation, I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and it helped me as a person, work more with our kids, and I'm sure it helped them coming from a variety of different backgrounds. I mean, black and brown, our folks, certain families only had one parent in the household. Maybe some didn't have any, parents in the household, and they were brought up by the grandparents or whatever. So for them, this is an avenue for them to, escape and learn and benefit from in the long run. Because, with any sport, most of the time it's a team aspect. So you're learning a lot of different things as you continue to, grow within the sport or all the sports in general. I would say, from another standpoint of, management, having a great structure around you, having some knowledgeable coaches, and you also want to have those players that are coachable, because it's very important. Because if you think you're all world and you don't want to listen to the coaches, first of all, it's a total disrespect. Second of all, you won't be seeing that field as much. And third, you won't benefit from it in the long run because you'll just have a negative aspect of the game because, I think I'm all this and all world, and they never gave me the opportunity to express myself. But I think with that, being said, I think you would have to, really kind of pull that player aside and have that conversation. You know what I mean? And make sure you're communicating well with them, and just kind of giving them a little bit extra, because they may not be getting it at home, or they may not be getting it at school. So this could be their avenue to, kind of, sometimes lash out in a good way and get it all out. So now you can start from scratch and start building and be that type of player with that type of potential, So I would give it more. So if you start at an early age with these kids and these student athletes, I think you may have they may have better chances in life than others that may come in late in the game. But I think at this point, at the arena level, they're pretty much set in their ways. So they're going to, again, take some from here, some from there, different coaching aspects and so on and so forth. You would like to think majority of them have, their whole life together. But if they need that extra push, that's why we're there. You know what I mean? We can talk one-on-one in confidence, or we can just, have a general conversation about, life in general and where you are now as a young adult.
Okay. Now, any of those players that have been involved with you or your teams that you've been involved with, when they eventually leave on and go on with their lives, whether it's they stop playing or go to another team, whatever the case may be, if they have any level of success, do you feel that you've played a small part in their success, whether it's on the field or off the field of play?
I mean, I'd like to think so in a sense, but I would want them to look more at their future, having a second or third option in life while playing, because not every person is going to make it to the pros. So you really got to, check your reality in terms of, not everybody's going to make it, but you need to have something to fall back on. And so that's why I try to tell the kids, like, you can't play forever, but if you want to hang in there and stick with the game, start learning new things, outside of just playing. I mean, because what do you think with these guys, the pros now, are doing after they retire successfully? You know what I mean? So, I tried to get at some of these kids early and say, hey, look, well, while you're in school, look at, the possibility of majoring in this or majoring in that, and once you're done, and you hang up the cleats, now you have something to fall back on. You know what I mean? So for me, it was business. So I had to look at it from that perspective and say, I'm not going to the pros, obviously. So I need to do the next best thing. So for me, I tried to, I applied for a lot of different pro sports teams in the region, and I got rejected. And real quick story. So I actually applied to a lot of teams down in the area, and everybody said no, but the Jets had a nice no. But it killed my spirit. But when I saw that letter with the Jets, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna still get it and still continue to learn. But my whole point is just having something to fall back on and look outside the industry and look out your sports career, because you never know. You could be the best cameraman, you could be the best, broadcaster, you could be the best commentator, you could, still coach, you could do general manager duties, you could do daily operations for the team. So there's many, many jobs and many, many opportunities outside of playing that you can do and still stick with sport that you love.
Okay. Have you ever had any of your players come back to you and express their gratitude for their interactions with you?
I mean, we have a few. I mean, from a partner's perspective, maybe, because he currently coaches, he's the quarterback coach at Keene University. So, he's coached, some over the years, and, he's done well with those guys. And I'm sure some of them, thank him for over the years and quite possibly, be coaching with him right now. From my point of view, yeah, very few, but hey, listen, if I can hit one at home, that says a lot, and I'm thankful. You know what I mean? So, hopefully we can get some good, folks, from this interview, and they can take what they will from it. You know what I mean? I'm just a small cog in the big system, on this level. But whatever I could do to help, the next man or the next woman succeed, and something like this, or in general in life, I'm there. So.
Okay. Now we've touched baseless a little bit on the Bearcats, but we haven't dived really much into it. Tell the audience really about what the Jersey Bearcats Arena team, is and what they're all about.
Well, the Jersey Bearcats started a little over 4 years ago from the mindset of AJ Roque and myself, Jermaine Sanders. And we wanted to do something different and bring a different perspective because, sure, you have these big wielding companies with big money, coming in here and thinking they know everything. And you don't even see too many of those teams around anymore. You know what I mean? With the AFL, not knocking them. I mean, they're coming back for their third time around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I won't speak on too much of it because I don't know too much of the, the current information on it, but I believe they're coming back next year. So, I'm not sure if you're going to have a team in this region anyway. So, so back to the Bearcats for us, we look at it in a couple of ways. So one, we want to build, a platform for those players that, didn't make it to the next level. So that's why we kind of formulated the AAL2, which is more pro development. So the AAL obviously is the AAL on a more bigger platform, pro teams, that sort of thing. So, when we had the opportunity to purchase the league a few years ago, that's what we wanted to, plant the seed so that we cover every aspect. So you don't necessarily, like, for teams that think they know it all, or they say, yeah, we got the money, but then a lot of times you see a lot of these teams fold right away. They fold up shop right away. So we want to make it so that, teams have a great understanding of what this level of football is all about, having a great structure, having a great plan, at least venues that are playable. Crazy story. So, back in our days with the semi-pro, you had so many teams that popped up. I mean, they're playing in, middle school fields and, parks that were kind of jacked up. But, we want to have that polished, representation of the team as well as the league. So we want to make sure that their venues are at least playable and that, you can get an opportunity for fans to come out and check out your product. So we have, meetings with those, teams on the AL2 to kind of, develop those things. Or if they already have an idea, at least, start preparing them for the next level if they want to make that jump.
Okay. What does the AAL stand for? Like the NFL is the National Football League. So what is the AAL?
So the AAL is actually the American Arena League. Okay. So if you will, at one point, prior to us, obviously acquiring the league, they were on the level or tier level as like a National Arena League or the IFL or the CIFL, those leagues. Since we acquired it, we took a step back. So obviously COVID played a key part in, our development and acquiring it. But we were successful in acquiring it. And then we took off last year, everything with it, including the Bearcats. And, we wanted to kind of revamp things and rebrand the name and everything that goes along with it. So, you'll see a totally different layout next year. where
Mhm.
we'll have both the AAL, excuse me, and the AAL2. So you'll see a lot of different quality of players. Some that would probably just play in the AAL2, but at least have an opportunity to reach that next platform of playing for the AAL teams. And then those that say don't make the team on the AAL level, they'll at least have a platform to play on with the AAL2.
Okay.
So kind of like a feeding system, like a minor league system. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, just so any of you might be a little bit confused, IFL is the Indoor Football League, and the CIFL, if I'm not mistaken, is the Continental Indoor Football League, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, with your vision and with the plans for the AFL and the AFL2, are these paid leagues for the players? Is the AFL going to be paid and the AFL2 just a development that they can move up to get paid?
Well, at this level, we don't pay the players. We try to have a vision for them in terms of giving them a little taste of what the pro side would look like. So in terms of them coming in, trying out, maybe not even if they don't have the equipment, we have the equipment for them. So right now we have, helmets, different things of that sort to assist them, in playing once you're chosen to be on a team. We try to do, our Zoom meetings. We try to do our physical practice. We feed our players, whether it be, pregame meal or postgame meal. Thanks to our partners, such as, our big partner, the Brownstone Bar and Grill, which is located in Metuchen, New Jersey. That's a big sponsor that really loves us and supports us. So, and then, when we're on the road, we teach them, a little bit more unification. We have, our T-shirts, we have just to show that we're collectively a team. And then, we have our pregame meals and stuff like that. So, and then traveling and everything. So it really gives them a little feel of what it's like at the pro level. The pro level, you get everything in the kitchen sink, if you will, because literally you'll have like an apartment. In most cases, you are fed by their sponsors. You're paid at that level. Okay.
So you're more of the introductory to the professional aspect. So instead of really getting the all the bells and whistles, you're just on a smaller level, building up to it. So I think that's what you're alluding to.
Absolutely. So probably within the next year or two, we'll be able to compensate these players. It won't be on a bigger scale, like tens of thousands of dollars, but at least they'll be compensated for their talent. I know of different teams at this level, anywhere between 25 and maybe $150 a game you can get, or 200. Next level, on the AAL side itself, it could be several hundred, per game, per player. But you just have to have, your budget in place and other things in place before you can commit to that, because you don't want to, overdo it, if you will, and just burn through your budget, because the budget, if you will, for an average team, I would say on a shoestring budget, and my partner could probably, attest to this. I would say anywhere between 100 and 150,000 to get through the season. You know what I mean? Fortunately, we've had some great opportunities to, be able to, have seasons, that are successful and bringing a great product to, our fans, the Bearcat Nation, and all. So, I think, on the pro level, obviously it'll be a whole lot more, and that, putting that budget together. So, folks can, afford it. They can do thousands of dollars, per player. It changes, it varies. So, but as for now, the AAL2 does not pay their players.
Understood.
But it's an opportunity to springboard to the next level. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
as my partner will say it, he normally would say, well, now that we got them, we don't want them because we want them to excel to the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
you're here temporarily. We want you to go. We want you to leave. And fortunate for us, we've had, I would say, anywhere between 16 and 17 players over the last 4 years, make it to the next level. Paid players at that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've been blessed with that opportunity, and I'm sure it won't stop there. We'll have more, players to come that would, the season isn't over yet, and we're going to be hitting the playoffs pretty soon. Excuse me. So,
Mm-hmm.
you may have some of our players and some players from other teams be, plucked, because there's a couple other leagues that are probably still playing and probably at that halfway point right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you said you guys are close to the playoffs. I mean, what is your record?
So currently the Bearcats are at 5-1, in second place. With 2 regular season games remaining. Both are at home. We play at the Warrenonco Park in Roselle, New Jersey. Inside the park, there's an ice skating rink called the Warrenonco Sports Center.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our first year playing, and I got to tell you, it's a great, great venue. And, for those that, want to come and check us out, I mean, hey, we would love, more members and folks and fans, added to the Bearcat Nation and hype it up for the playoffs that are right around the corner. So, with 2 games left in the season and the playoffs are right around the corner. So, we're fortunate to be in that position. We should have been in first place, but that home opener, we had the game pretty much in the bag, but unfortunately, in the last minute or so, we kind of lost focus, and we ended up losing 32-34.
Yeah, tough. Yeah,
It's a tough loss. So I got a feeling it might be the same 2 teams. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but it's kind of looking in that direction. But we'll see. We take 1 game a week. You know what I mean? So
the way it's supposed to be. The way it's
exactly.
Supposed to be. So I appreciate you. I appreciate that. So when fans come out, what type of experience do they encounter? Whether it's in an interactive, a family-friendly type of environment, exciting. You were talking about hyping up for the players. I mean, is it a lot of music? I mean, what type of an experience are the fans getting when they come out to check out a Bearcat game?
Absolutely. We want them to come out and express themselves and be a part of us, be a part of the excitement, be a part of the family fun atmosphere. I mean, for instance, for a family of 4 going to a pro game, NFL game, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars from, burning gas to get up there to the stadium and parking and all kinds of stuff. Whereas it only takes you minutes, maybe an hour from where you are, depending on where you are, to get to our venue and watch us play for less than going to a movie, a family of 4. You know what I mean? And so we charge $12, for adults, and kids from 7 to 12 are $8. And we definitely have some group packages aligned with those home games. We've been fortunate enough to have a 5 home game schedule, and around that we developed different theme nights. So our first game was the oh my goodness, I forgot the first game. Excuse me. So the first game was our well, in any event, last week was first responders. Before that game was military appreciation night, and our first game was Marvel night. So we had a special guest, Spider-Man and Black Panther, come out. So the kids really enjoyed that. And so now we have the last 2 home games. So June 3rd will be our Greek night, Greek fraternity and sororities night. So I'm looking for my fellow Divine Nine members to come out. I'm also a member of Omega Psi Phi, so any bros out there, come on through. And all fraternities of different walks of life, brown, yellow, Asian, whatever. Come on out. If you're wearing paraphernalia, it'll be a $5 ticket for you. So that'll be, really great, because then we can, probably get them to participate in a couple of different activities, or, just kind of show some love and shout them out. And then our final home game, we have what's called the Bearcat Palooza. So with any Palooza, it's got to be some type of excitement surrounded with that. So it's all about the youth that night, of course. They come in with their football jerseys. It'll be $4 for them. And we're also looking to have a football clinic before that game kicks off on June 10th at 6:30. So we'll have that clinic a few hours before, but we'll have further information within the next few days. So.
Well, it sounds like a lot of exciting times for the Bearcats. I hope fans get a feel for that, and definitely, venture out and check out the team, the game, and get involved more, because it is a great sport. So, I mean, I've watched it, and I've been a part of it. Years ago, so I can attest to what you guys are doing. So, and I commend you guys, because it is a lot. It's
Yes.
a lot of challenging. Running a team. So, do you find that it's challenging running the team?
Yeah, with every venture, there's always going to be some type of, obstacles or challenges, but, you look to find a way. I look to find a way. Either I'm going through it, over it, under it. However, so for me, I love some challenge. I love great challenges. So, and in this case, is two heads are better than one. Two owners are better than one right now. And I think we, again, that's a testament to my partner as well. He has that professional background of playing and coaching, and I have a little bit of that, plus a little bit of the business side. So it helped through those experiences, those tough times during the Cinder days, but now having some time off and thinking about going into this venture as far as arena football, I think that's what helped me where I'm at today, in terms of going through those tough times. And tough times don't last. So here we are, and I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful for family. I'm thankful for the supporting, cast around me. And here we are. We have some great talent that are coachable, that are open-minded, and that are young and hungry, and want to be successful. So,
okay. Well, if any fans, businesses, they want to get in contact with the organization, how can they reach you guys?
Absolutely. They could hit us up, email Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com, or info at American Arena League.com. Yes, I'm sorry. It's I'm getting them confused a little bit, but we have the AEL, which those businesses, on a national, regional, corporate level, want to support the league, they could do so there at AmericanArenaLeague.com. And on a local level, if there's players or fans that are interested, they can hit us up on the Gmail or Jersey Bearcats football.com.
Okay. Do you guys have any other social medias like Facebook or
Absolutely.
Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, but those are the more active social platforms that, that are very active, and we try to interact as well. So you'll see a lot of pictures and a lot of things happening on there. So don't be afraid to introduce yourself, and, hopefully we'll see you at the upcoming games, and we appreciate your support, for those that have been coming out and supporting us the last few years. We appreciate your support and your time. Definitely want to shout out, our Brownstone partnership, the Bar and Grill from Metuchen, New Jersey. Man, They have some great food over there, and I suggest you check it out as well, man.
All right. Well, in closing, is there anything else you want the audience to know about you or the Jersey Bearcats?
Well, the Bearcats are me. The Bearcats are you. The Bearcats are Bearcat Nation. So we're a collective family. I mean, all walks of life. All different age groups. We're all football fans, pretty much. And this is some great football. This is a great time. It's affordable at that. So I'd love it warms my heart. And again, I don't want to be too cliche, but it warms my heart and it does justice that we can bring such a product to the field or the community so that it's affordable for a family of four or whatever to come on out and have some entertainment on a Saturday night. I mean, where else are you going to get that at?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys, yourself, Coach, a tremendous platform you got here. And I know you're doing some great things and more things to come. And I look forward to, partnering with you and bringing more excitement to the love of football and those that want to get into football or, looking at opportunities and career paths in sports. We do have a great internship program and, you can get credit for it. And, who knows, in a couple of years, we'll be able to, hire some individuals to work with us, because it's tough. We all, wear many hats. So, we can use that support down the road and bring in some great, great folks down the road and become part of our Bearcat family. So,
all right. Well, I thank you for your time today, giving me this great interview. I hope our audience will definitely appreciate what you bring to the table, what the Bearcats bring to the table. And to everyone, all my sponsors, Shadow Worlds Radio, the League of All League Alliance, Get Out Travels, Wise Consultation. Thank you guys for always being there for me. I really appreciate you. To the amazing fan base that I have, to the Read and React fan base, thank you guys for your support. And you guys know what I say in sports. Make sure you guys turn it on and turn it up. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace.
Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. Retake. Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. We will be the guiding hand as you create engaging, long-lasting, and life memories. However you wish to get to your destination, via land, air, or sea, Go Travels is the one you can count on to get you where you need to go. In addition to travel adventures, we can help you set your plans for sporting events, concerts, and theme parks. We are experienced at catering to all your travel needs. When you're traveling outside of the U.S., we will help you make sure all your paperwork is in order or help you obtain whatever is required for your travels. To book a trip, visit the Go Travels website at www.getouttravels.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/getouttravels. You can also email us at getouttravels@yahoo.com or call to 571-888-5809. And Go Travels is spelled GETOUTRAVELS. Go Travels, where we bring your adventure to life.
What's good, everyone? I'm back. Talk some college sporting news. This segment is going to be brought to you by the League of All Leagues Alliance. It's a league that's more than the game, even though it's about minor league semi-pro football. They're a community outreach program, so they bring you a great deal of everything. But let's jump into college football. And one thing that I want to talk about in reference to this, even though it's going to be focused on college football, this is in all terms of all college sports. And it's a situation dealing with the transfer portal in college sports. Now, for many years, if a player wanted to transfer, they could transfer, but they had to sit out a year before they could be integrated into the program. Okay. That's to get kids acclimated to going from one school to another, adjusted, and also not just so they can just jump around like it's quote unquote free agency. A couple of years back, they changed that aspect where kids can transfer to another school. Now, the thought is that you can transfer one time without being penalized, and then after that, you still have to sit out. So if a kid transfers from school A to school B, they instantly can play. Okay, that seems fair, whatever the case may be. Okay. Now, recently, the head coach of Pitt University, Pat Narduzzi, voiced his displeasure or his concern for Coach Deion Sanders and what he did once he took over at Colorado. But I'm going to back up a little bit, just to give you a little insight and a little so you can become familiar if you're not familiar with what's going on in Colorado. First and foremost, last year, Colorado had one of the worst records in all of the FBS. And FBS is the top level. That's where you have schools in the SEC, like the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Big Ten, the Ohio States. You know, if you go out west in the Pac-12, where Colorado is playing, you know, the USCs, the Oregons, the Washington universities, those schools. But Colorado is part of that. They were 1-11 last year. Okay. Coaches are hired and fired first and foremost because of their wins and losses. Coaching staff there from last year was let go. Flip to this year, Coach Deion Sanders was brought from Jackson State to take over at Colorado. Now, I was reading a couple of different articles in reference to this situation, and I'll get into what Coach Narduzzi said, but I was reading from the New York Post, dated the 23rd of this month of May. And to start out, the very first sentence says this: is Deion Sanders ruining college football as we know it? I'm going to stop right there. You're putting the way the rules of the system and someone utilizing it, and you're saying this one person is ruining college football. Not all the colleges collectively, not the system that is in place, but one man. I'm going to take it even further, where this is why I think there is a major problem in college sports. And I love college sports. Anyone who knows me will tell you I prefer college football as the number one sport for me. I'll choose it over the NBA, the NFL, whatever pro sports, any other sports. I love college football more than anything. Okay? Now, New York Post made the statement of, is Deion Sanders ruining football as we know it? I saw a video interview, and one of the person being interviewed is a former alumnus of Howard University, which is an HBCU, historically black college and university. Okay. And he spoke of, Deion Sanders, everything going on. And he made a statement that, well, one, he didn't have an issue with Deion doing what he has to do, but the point was he thought Deion was going to be the savior of the HBCUs. Again, you're putting one man and giving one man that type of power and prestige. Now, we all know, if you're a sports fan, Deion Sanders, big name, I get it. He does everything big. I get it. But just those two collectives in itself is the issue, is the problem, which leads to creating a narrative or a perception that Deion Sanders is ruining college football, or is he ruining it? It's a question. To even ask that question is an insult in my eyes. Why would you ask, would someone be ruining college football? Now, what Deion Sanders did when he got to Colorado, okay? And some have debated it and don't like it and whatever the case may be. But basically, he's in a sense overhauling the roster from last year. When he came in, he had an interview or a meeting with the returning players, Colorado Buffalo players from last year. And one of his comments is, so I want y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in that portal and do whatever you're going to get, because more of you jump in, the more room you make. Basically, he's telling them, look, guys, if you want to jump in the portal, go right ahead. Jump in the portal, because you do that, you're giving me a scholarship that I can go use on someone else. Because that's also another thing with the portal, because a player can put his name in the portal to test the waters, to see what the market is. But the school that he played at does not have to keep his scholarship. They can pull it, which is kind of what Deion said. Look, you can go ahead and jump in there. You're opening up the opportunity for me to take your scholarship and give it to someone else. Now, mind you, they had a bad season last year. So that means they're bereft of talent. And ladies and gentlemen, colleges do this left and right. It's not just Deion Sanders. Now, they may not do it because, basically up to 70 or a little bit over 70 players in total have either been asked to leave or left on their own accord. Whatever the case may be. They did not have a good roster last year. So it's expected that guys are going to be asked to leave, or let's not even say asked to leave. It's going to be suggested Because most likely that's what it is. They're not asking them to leave because you can't ask them to leave because the kids can say no. They have a scholarship. They have a free education. They know that, if they do that, you can pull it, and then if they don't get another scholarship, then they're left out in the cold. They have to pay for it themselves. So guess what? They're not going to go ahead and do that. But it could be they're suggested that they test the waters. Okay. And if you do that, that's on you. That's not, they didn't put a gun to your head, or they didn't say, I'm taking your scholarship no matter what. No, they did not say that. I don't believe that Deion Sanders said, I'm taking your scholarship, that's it. Because the rules are not set up like that. But again, maybe there are ways that they can do that. I don't know. But everything that I know of the rules, coaches can't do that. They just can't do it. Now, 70 guys left. Again, the team was 1-11 last year. So they need talent. They need an influx of talent. And he's going to bring in players that fits what he's trying to do. That's the other thing, okay? These kids go to this school because a lot of times it's the coaches that are there. They have relationships, whatever the case may be. It's also the system. Maybe these kids took a look and said, I'm not going to fit into what Coach Prime is trying to do. Let me go ahead and leave. It's a multitude of other things. To sit here and blame him, or basically say, as Coach Narduzzi said, that's not what the transfer portal rule intended to be. It was not to overhaul your roster. We'll see how it works out, but that, to me, looks bad on college football coaches across the country. I said earlier, college coaches do this. I'm a Rutgers Scholar Knight fan. I love Rutgers University. I love their athletic program. When Coach Graziano came in, we had one of the worst programs in the country. And he did something very similar. Maybe not to the numbers of 70 or over 70 that left the university at Colorado, but you had a good number. You had in the 30 range that left. Why? Because these kids were not going to fit into the system, the culture. They didn't fit the talent. Here's another factor. The kid could stay, and he might go to the back of the line. Now, some of these kids may not like that. They don't want to do that, so they just want everything given to them. Now, let me just say this also on the other side. If a new coach comes in and says that to me, I'm not leaving. The competitor in me is going to step up, and I'm going to fight for everything that I have. That's my scholarship. That's my position. I'm going to prove to that coach that I can do it. I'm also going to take the lessons that they're going to teach and use it to get better. Now, again, that's me as a competitor, but I have the choice. And this is what I'm alluding to. These kids have choices. I don't think that they were just arbitrarily booted out the door. And I have an issue when another coach at another program criticizes another coach at another program in another conference. You want to have a problem with the system, with the rule? Criticize the rule. Criticize the system, not another coach. One, you never know if you work with that coach somewhere down the line. You may need them. What happens if you get fired and you're looking for a job? Oh, and you go to Coach Prime for a job. Because coaches do that all the time. Now, that's the other factor too. in this whole transfer portal thing. Coaches leave one university to go to another for the money. And you're leaving kids that you recruited that came there for you, and you leave them high and dry. Some may follow you because they're fortunate if they're skilled enough, but the vast majority won't. Again, for me, Coach Narduzzi is wrong there. Don't criticize another coach in that manner. You criticize the system. You criticize the rules. Because it's not his fault. He's not ruining college football. That is the rules. And that's what they can use. That's what each and every coach can do. Whether it's you get rid of or you suggest 10 players leave the university or your program because they may not fit, or up to 70. Doesn't matter. That's just my opinion on this whole thing. It just really irked me. So I know you guys will let me know what you think. So, and I look forward to it. So, but I'm going to take a break and I'll be back right after this. The League of All Leagues is an adult professional football league that is beyond the game. The league is headed by one of the sport's premier women leaders of a men's football league, who has designed the league to assist in the development of players, teams, and owners as they work towards achieving their respective personal and organizational goals. Based in Linden, New Jersey, the League of All Leagues is comprised of teams playing in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. The league emphasizes sports business as all of its members are a registered business entity, professionalism, and establishing itself as the premier adult amateur professional league experience on the East Coast. Its mission is to provide the athletes, coaches, and businesses the elite opportunity to present their teams in the most professional league around. Each team provides their communities with great fan fest, interactions, and opportunities to continue cheering on their local heroes. If you are looking for some of the area's best football, come out to a game near you. You can find the League of All Leagues on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@League of All Leagues Football 6326, or on Instagram at www.instagram.com/League of All Leagues Alliance. Okay, everyone. I'm ready to sit back and talk to you about the NFL. What's going on there? What's happening? Some really intriguing stuff. But one thing I'm going to talk about is one situation dealing with the Las Vegas Raiders. But before I do that, this segment is brought to you by Go Travels. Go Travels is where you can go to get all your travel needs. Anything across the world, North, Central, South America. They can get your passports done, help you get your passports and all your traveling papers. You want to go to sporting events, to concerts, Go Travels is there for you. So make sure you go check out Go Travels. They'll help you get on the path. Now, talking about the Las Vegas Raiders, one of the situations dealing with them deals with their quarterback play. Their starting quarterback for the past few years, Derek Carr, has moved on and moved southeast. He moved down to New Orleans, and he's taken the helm of the Saints. Well, the Raiders then, looking for a quarterback play, brought in Jimmy Garoppolo. Sorry about that. Now, they signed Garoppolo to a 3-year contract, $72.8 million. roughly a little bit over 24 mil per year. So that's a good chunk of change to pay for a quarterback. All right. So quarterback has to be that leader. He has to be out there really helping those guys and putting the guys in position to make the plays that they need to. And they have some people, they have some good players over there. So you have Adams at wide receiver, Josh Jacobs. He's tagged right now, but he'll be back. So they have some skilled players over there to help them and help that offense. But there's an issue with Jimmy G. One of the issues is he had surgery. He recently had surgery to his foot. And the Raiders knew that. I mean, if you look at his history, basically since 2018, the amount of games he's missed in 4 of the 5 years, he's missed games in 2018, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Including playoffs, he's missed a total of 36 games. Now, with the new structure on how scheduling is done, you know, teams are playing 17 games. Literally, Jimmy G has missed more games over a 2-year period. So out of those 5 years that I just talked about, 2018 to 2022, he's missed 2 years. So it makes sense that the Raiders would structure things to fit and protect them. And I get it. I mean, because when you miss so many games, yeah, it's a red flag. So now I know initially there were reports that he wasn't going to need surgery, that the fracture that he had in his foot, you know, didn't need to do that. But guess what? Earlier last week, he needed surgery. Now, it was reported by Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network that there was a waiver included in Jimmy G's contract. And the addendum basically states that Jimmy G expressly acknowledges and waives the risk of further injury and expressly assumes all risks of continue to play despite the condition. Now, this adjustment, this inclusion, this addendum to his contract was due to a pre-existing metal and middle cuneiform and a fracture of the base of the second metatarsal in the player's left foot. Now, Jimmy G also understands that such conditions has decreased his ability to play professional football, and that continuing to play professional football may result in deterioration, aggravation, and re-injury of the existing conditions, rendering player physically unable to perform the services that would be required of player by the NFL player contract. Now, I know some of you are probably going to say, huh? What are you saying? What? Sounds a little bit, maybe a little bit complicated. I mean, what does that mean, coach? Help us all. Basically, in his left foot, okay, the second metatarsal in your foot, the left foot, there is the chance that it progresses and gets worse. Now, for a quarterback, and he's a right-handed quarterback, when you're throwing, a lot of times when your follow through comes through, you may push off on your back right foot, but a lot of your weight ends up on your front left foot. So that's very key. That's very important, and it's something that you can't take lightly. So they went in and they did surgery, but there's no guarantee. I mean, he could have the surgery and he still knows he's taking a chance that, there may be deterioration, he may aggravate it, even re-injure. So some of you may say, well, why would you do that? I'll give you 73 million reasons why he would do that. All right. Now, on the flip side, the Raiders do have the opportunity to get out of the contract because the deal also preserves the team's ability to terminate the agreement with no further obligation for any reason tied to the addendum. So basically, if they need to, they can cut him for nothing. Whatever they paid him at that point in time, if it's due to the injury, he can be cut. Now, I know many of us initially were wondering why. Well, guess what? The Raiders basically, they have that, I don't want to say free pass, but they can take the chance with him. All right? Because while he is not the elite of elite quarterbacks, let me say that again, he is not the elite of elite quarterbacks in the NFL. He's still a serviceable quarterback, maybe in the middle of the pack to somewhere, either slightly below, slightly above, somewhere in that range. So he can give you good production if in certain times, and if things fall into play. With the Raiders having that ability to get out of that contract, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, then you really are not biting a bullet. But on the flip side, who are you going to be left with on your team? I mean, the quarterbacks that you're left with on their roster are Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell, and Chase Garbers. I mean, if Jimmy G has to go, if he can't play or you cut him, you basically are restarting at the quarterback position. I mean, yes, you have Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, but you take Jimmy G out of there and put those other quarterbacks in there. Okay. But, when you break it down, I mean, the guy has been to war. He's played for some good programs. So, he like I said, he is a good quarterback in that regard. He's not a slouch. But, when you sit down and you break it down, 36 games over a 2-year period, basically, him losing 36 games, that's a lot for me. And it leaves me wondering, is he really going to make it through the full 3 years of this contract? How long? So, but like I said, it gives them the opportunity. Now, on the flip side, if it doesn't go well, then I do expect there to be a wholesale changes within the organization. And you could see them playing for one of the top quarterbacks next year. Who knows? Right now, the goal is for them to make the playoffs. I mean, like I said, they do have some skilled players. They, made, certain changes within their organization. It's also about Josh McDaniels. I mean, there's questions about him as a coach. And is this going to give him the opportunity to really go out there and coach? Can he really coach? I don't know. I'm not a full follower of Josh McDaniels, but it just leaves me really wondering about the Las Vegas Raiders. Because I would like to see them, because when the NFL, when the Raiders are doing good, it brings good intrigue. Even if they bring that bad boy, that tough mantra mentality, the dark hole, if you're a football fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the Las Vegas Raiders, going back to the Los Angeles Oakland Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, that type of mentality, But, right now, a lot of it hinges on Jimmy G. If he can step up and foot the bill, pun intended. Because, I don't know. It just leaves me wondering if with his injury history, now with this foot, and, like I said, that's the foot that, when you're passing, you transition your weight, it ends up on that foot. And that's going to be painful, and then the possibility of deterioration, aggravation, re-injury. It leaves me concerned for Jimmy G. Let's take it even a step further. Okay, when you hear deterioration, right? The re-injury and the aggravation I attribute that to football. Deterioration, that's life. What's going to happen with his foot in that regard? Is he going to be able to walk? Let alone walk, have some ability to walk, but walk at all, because it could deteriorate. And what's going to happen? How bad is it going to be? Is he going to be in so much pain the rest of his life? Where does it go? Maybe I'm just a coach and I'm just being too extreme. But, having gone through my personal experiences, yes, I do start to think about things like that. I don't want to see this man. Yeah, he has all this money. He can afford this. He can afford that. It's not about that, because it's not about money. It's about the quality of your life, period. You can lose the money. You can lose everything. But what's going to happen to the physical body? And that's what I'm getting at in terms of Jimmy G and that word deterioration, because I look at that outside football, like I just said, the re-injury, the aggravation, I take it for football, but that deterioration and, what type of quality of life is he going to lead? Is he going to be there for his kids, his grandkids, his family, so on and so forth? Jimmy G, I hope, things go well for you and you can walk away from this game with your head held high and no serious pains that, it affects you long term the rest of your life, man. But time will tell. We'll see what's going to happen. So, well, I'm going to take a break and I'll be back right after this. All right, everyone, I'm back. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the NBA. It's been a crazy time. It's playoff times in the NBA, so you have a series starting to wind down. The Western Conference has gotten down to one to go into the NBA Finals, the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets finished off the LA Lakers last week and completed a sweep, 4-0. Yes, they were led by Jokic, one of the top players in the league. But for me, the biggest thing was Jamal Murray. He's stepping up and starting to show his level of play, why many thought he was one of the top players when he was coming into the NBA, and he could develop into an elite player. The kid has been balling. He's going out there, taking control, running that offense, getting guys in the right position, but he's also hitting those critical shots when necessary. So for me, that was the biggest key in the Western Conference. You know, when you take on the Lakers and you're going up against LeBron James, Davis, Hachimura, Reeves. Like, the Lakers did have a good team. They had a good team coming from the second half of the season after the trade deadline, with all the trades that they made to really reconfigure and change that team. And they weren't your normal playing team. You know, they were a good team. So, and for Denver to basically beat them 4 games to none, that shows how good Denver really is. Shout out to my man Jeffy T85, because he's always been calling it. He's always said Denver is better than most people will give them credit for. They're a good team. They definitely are a good team, and I have to tip my hat to them. So if I wear a hat, sorry. But that just tells me how good of a team they are, and they're going to be a formidable opponent for whoever they face between Boston and Miami. I mean, you can't take them lightly. They're going to go out there. They're going to play ball. It's just, like I said, Jamal Murray has really been stepping up. And I think he's going to be the biggest key in the finals, along with Jokic. You know, because both Miami and Boston, they don't have a player like Jokic. Because Jokic can score. He's tall. He's long. But he's also very, very good at passing and hitting the open player. The closest player would be with Denver, with Kevin Love, because he can kick out, he can do a great job, you know, kicking the ball and passing to the open man. But Kevin Love is not at an elite level as Jokic is. He's not at that level anymore. So for me, you know, more than Jokic, like I said, the biggest person is going to be Murray. And, you know, he was commented as saying, we just want to make the most of the opportunity. So when you think about that, you know, this is an opportunity because Denver has never been to the NBA Finals in its franchise history. So that's something big in itself right there. So we're going to see how they do. So now in the Eastern Finals, it's been an exciting finals. Let me start right there. Right now, the series now is tied 3-3. Miami went up 3-0. And game 6, I mean, Boston had them down, but they fought their way back. And with whatever seconds, 2.1, or it was up to 3 seconds left. But Miami went to the foul line, and Jimmy Butler, who was fouled on the play, and it was a 3-point shot, hit three free throws, and that actually put Miami up by 1. And like I said, Boston had 3 seconds left in the game, and me watching, I really did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did think there's no way Boston is gonna win this game. There's none. And Miami did a good job taking away their key players in Brown. They did a very good job in taking away Brown and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And they got the ball in to Marcus Smart, who instantly turned around and put up a shot. Now, on the play, Derek White was the inbounder, so he tried to find the players to get the ball to. Ended up getting it to Marcus Smart, who turned around and put up a shot. White came inbounds, circled around, and went right underneath the basket and tipped the ball in literally with 0.1 seconds left on the clock. I mean, video replay showed that he got the shot off, and Boston ends up winning by 2. I'm sorry, no, they win by 1. Sorry about that. They end up winning 104 to 103. Now, for me, the issue was White's defender. I believe it's Skur. I'm sorry if I messed up his name, but he needed to stay with him to make sure that he didn't come in, because that's one of the biggest plays that, sometimes usually happens, especially with situations like that. The defender on the inbounder, once the ball is inbounded, he probably backs off and kind of hedges towards the offensive player who got the ball off the inbounds, instead of, faking it and then jumping back out to your man and at least staying with him, boxing him out, or at least, basically putting a body on him and making it difficult for him to get tipping in a situation like that. Because if he does that, it's now Miami and Denver. So, but Miami Boston ends up winning, and now you're heading back to Boston for a Game 7. And remember, I said initially Miami was up 3-0. And in all NBA history, no team has ever come back from a situation like that. So it's going to be interesting. Jimmy Butler doesn't seem to be worried about it. He's very confident in terms of that. He feels that, his team is going to be able to step up and win the game. But I don't know, because now the pressure is back. Is Boston? Yes, Boston had pressure. They had a lot of pressure. They have a pressure to win. They're supposedly the better team, the deeper team. They're the number 2 seed, so the opportunity is there for them. Miami is a number 7 seed, or number 8 seed. My fault. So in a sense, Miami doesn't have anything to lose. At the beginning of the series, most people thought they weren't going to be here. But to be up 3-0 and now end up having to go back to Boston on a Game 7, you now let Boston win 3 in a row. You won 3, now Boston wins 3. So it's a matter of who's wants it. Now, Boston was there last year. They know what it takes to get there. So they know what it takes to fight to get there. So Miami's going to have to step up, and it's definitely going to be a big game. So I'll definitely be checking it out and locked in, to see the end results. But, and then the NBA Finals will begin Thursday. So all I can say is let's go. Let's see what's going on. Now, another news. The Miami Bucks are finalizing a deal to make Adrian Griffin their next head coach. Some of you may not know who Adrian Griffin is. I do, because I've been following him since his college days. He played at Seton Hall here in Jersey, so I know about him. I mean, he had a 9-year stint in the NBA. Played for the Boston Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks, the Houston Rockets, Chicago Bulls, and the then Seattle Supersonics. He's also made the rounds as a coach, as an assistant coaching with the Milwaukee Bucks on the staff of Scott Skiles. He's also coached in Chicago, Orlando, Oklahoma City, and Toronto. He's also won a NBA championship up at Toronto. So he's going to have a real big task, because you're taking over a team that's in some regards, right in their prime. And, you know, Giannis Antetokounmpo's 28, but you have a lot of other key players that are in their 30s. Brooke Lopez, who's a free agent, is 35. Drew Holiday is 33. Chris Middleton is 32. So, you know, they have some young players. I'm not saying they don't, but this is a big time for them because they've always been losing out in the early rounds in the playoffs, and they definitely have to make the best, especially when they're having a good record. I mean, you know, Budenholzer is definitely, you know, their former coach. You know, he did his thing. You know, he did help them win a championship, but, you know, they've been having their best record and losing in different rounds, first rounds and Eastern Conference Finals. So, kudos to Coach Griffin. You know, I hope you do well. But, you know, it's definitely going to be a big task in terms of him stepping up and leading this team back to another NBA championship. Now, you know, all indications is Giannis Antetokounmpo vouched for him and he believes in him. So, you know, that's a good thing. So it's also a matter of, you know, what players are they going to be bringing back, you know, and what players are they going to add in to, you know, this team. So it's going to be interesting. So just wanted to chime in, you know, in reference to that, wishing the best. There's still a few other openings that are out there. So, you know, I'm going to be monitoring it. You know, one thing I want to say, I'm sorry, I did forget about one thing. One thing I want to say, you know, when you're a new coach coming into a situation like that and you have top talent like that, you know, you really got to get these guys to buy in. Yes, Giannis, you know, vouch for you, but you know what? Still got to get him to buy in along with everyone else. And what kind of system are you? I mean, because they're used to one thing. You know, what are you going to run offensively? How do you handle your defensive situations? So, you know, it's going to be very interesting initially with him going in there. You know, Griffin is a smart guy. I know he is. You know, I'm intrigued to see what he can do. I've watched his career, you know, like I said, from college to seeing the type of player he is, a hard worker, a grinder. He was, you know, he wasn't overly athletic, but, you know, he was skilled and he could do his thing. He was a better defender. And then getting to the NBA a little bit more, he was, you know, more of a defensive guy. He was not someone you counted on offensively. So, I just want to see what he's going to do and how he's going to mesh with the players there and, you know, any new players that are being brought in. How are they all going to work together? And again, the biggest thing is going to be his philosophies, you know, because, you know, I think defensively they will do well and I think they will buy in and he'll put them all in the right positions. So, you know, but that's pretty much it. Wanted to touch base on that and wish Coach Griffin well, and we'll see what happens in the finals. So with that, I'm going to take a break, and I'll see you in a bit. Well, everyone, on to the end of another great episode today. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Thanks to all the sponsors, Shadow Worlds Radio, Get Out Travel, Wise Consultants, the League of All Leagues, Jersey Bearcats, Arena Football. Thank you all for being there. Thank you to you, the fans, for continuously supporting me in this venture, in this journey. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thanks to Jermaine Sanders for a great interview. I really appreciate you taking the time, letting us get to know you and a little bit about the Jersey Bearcats. So I hope everyone has enjoyed it and looking forward to next week's episode. Make sure you guys send me your comments, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through Twitter, whether it's through email, or if you have my phone, whether you text me. I'd like to hear from you guys, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Thanks a lot. So, with that being said, you know what I always say when it comes to sports, make sure you guys turn it on and turn it up. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to give you my perspective.
Coach Ed's
And attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and Attack.
Read and attack.
Sports Talk
I'm
Show.
going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coach Ed's Read and Attack.
I'm going to give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and Attack. Sports
This
Talk
is a
Show.
sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coach Ed's
Read and attack.
Sports Talk Show. Read and Attack.
Read and attack show.